Good evening. So do we find somebody in the? Okay. So this is the live session for the course Operations and Supply Chain Management. This is the second of our live sessions. We had one, I think, around end of February. We had one. So I understand that two people are online. So if you have a question, you can type it, and our group here will be able to see that question, and then we will try to answer. So we are one of the two, or?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So right now we have only one student. So there's only one student, I understand. If you have anything to ask, please do ask. Otherwise, there are a couple of questions that have been sent by email. It could be the one that you have sent. We'll try to answer those and then wait for some time till few others can come and join us. Okay, so there are only two questions that I have in front of me. I'll do the second one first and the first one second. The second one is from a student, and there are two questions in it. Not unexpectedly, it's about the exam. So, can you share the previous year question for us to practice? And will there be fill in the blanks and essay type answer questions too? The answer to that is I generally do not share a model question paper. But as I mentioned in the previous Hangout itself, that the model question paper will have 4 components. It will have a small multiple choice component. It will have a true or false component. It will have some short questions, and it will have long questions. Being entirely an online exam with either multiple choice or true or false or answers, the questions are all numerical. The only descriptive part that you may have is in the true or false or in the multiple choice. The short questions and the bigger questions are all numerical. Therefore, it is important that you are able to solve the assignment problems. And they will not be too difficult or different from what has been given as assignment problems. I also understand that solutions to the assignment problems are being put up. And therefore, what is important is to practice these and be prepared with that. Essay type answer questions. No, we are not going to have a descriptive essay type answer questions for multiple reasons. One of which is, I guess, about 600 plus people will be taking the exam. And therefore, I'm right now not proposing an essay type question for this. The second part of the same question is, will it be a traditional 3-section pattern for final exam, which most NPTEL courses follow? I don't know the 3-section pattern right now, but I've already told you that we will have a few multiple choice, a few true or false, and numericals where you have to answer. Even the bigger questions is not like you give one answer and you get either 8 marks or 0. It's not like that. It will have some small sub-questions. And we also make sure that no question actually has more than 3 marks or so. So even if it's a 8-mark question, you might have to give 3 answers, and you might get some 3 or 2 or whatever marked accordingly. So that answers the first question. The second question is, what are the main key factors of logistics procurement is the question. So let me try to understand the question and try to answer that. Let me first look at procurement, and then I look at logistics. The procurement is you buy items in a factory to make a product. So when you do procurement, you have to identify suppliers, and then you also have to look at the distance that the trucks will have to move to bring these items from the suppliers to the factory. So the typical logistics issues in procurement are how far away the supplier is. The other issues in procurement are what is the cost of the item. So cost of the item, quality of the item, delivery, dependability. So all these are things that you will consider when you choose a supplier. So logistics comes into the supplier selection in a certain way because the distance from the factory to the supplier, the modes of transportation. So all these become important and they add to the logistics part of procurement. With more and more factories moving towards just-in-time manufacturing, which means the items that are procured arrive daily and very minimum inventory is kept in the factory, it puts a lot more emphasis on how close physically, in terms of distance, how close the supplier is to the factory. So those kind of logistical issues also come in. Sometimes suppliers also rent or are given some small space near the factory or inside the factory where they can store some minimum inventory and then they can supply to the factory on a daily basis. With a lot of outsourcing also happening, most of the logistics, truck transportation and all these are outsourced. So it adds another dimension to the whole problem where the ability of the outsourced logistics provider, the cost models with the logistics provider, the communication systems and the connectivity systems by which the truck person or the driver or somebody who is associated with the truck can actually go and pick up. So now you see that there are actually three people. There is a factory that requires the item, there is the outsourced logistics provider, and then there is the supplier who is giving the item. So the ability to coordinate either through manual systems or computerized systems pose a kind of challenge in logistics and procurement. So that would be the answer to the other question. So how many people are there? Still only one. So I think there's still only one person online, and if you have a question, you may please type it, and I'll be happy to answer that. Otherwise, I have answered both the questions, and we need to wait for a few more people to come and join us if they are interested. In between, I actually have one small observation to make. So this course on operations and supply chain management, as well as my other course on operations research, have been regularly coming as MOOC certification courses in the NPTEL. What we also need to keep in mind is some of these courses will have their own separately recorded videos specific to the course. But I've been following a model where the available videos, particularly for OR and this course, become the course material for this. So as such, I do not have very course-specific videos. And these videos were created in the time when we did not have the MOOCs, and these videos had a content whereby I believe, and NPTEL would also believe, that we concentrated a lot on providing the knowledge rather than train a student towards an examination. So I would still believe that the purpose of this course is to provide knowledge and gain knowledge in tools and methodologies if it is an OR course, and on problems and applications if it is an OM course. I should also say that these are not meant entirely to substitute a course that you would be doing in as part of your curriculum. The syllabi and delivery and the content could be slightly different. But if you agree with me on the point that these courses are meant to provide some knowledge and some problem solving tools, I think we have gone some distance in creating these courses and making these courses useful to the set of students who actually want to learn. I should also say that my strength in many ways lies in the quantitative modeling and problem solving. And therefore, you will find a lot of problem solving emphasis in the courses that I have given. There is always a possibility, and there are enough topics in operations management where you could have a descriptive content, where some practices and other principles can be taught in a very descriptive manner, can also be learned in a very descriptive manner. But I have not taken that direction when I have done this course in operations management. And I think it is time for me to even clarify this point, because there has to be a match between what I have delivered in this course and what is the expectation from the students on the other side. Did I say only one person? Okay, so now the TAs tell me that there are two people who are logged on. So please do talk to us and ask us a question or two. Otherwise, I have very little to say unless you want me to speak on something very specific. So please do type your questions and I'll be happy to answer them.
Sir, one student is typed, there was an error in the forecasting assignment in one question, because of which they were not able to answer the question rightly. So that question will be reevaluated and students will be given 1 point.
So I hope you are able to hear that. So that he is informed that one of the students in the course have written that there was an error in the forecasting question in the assignment, because of which the correct answers that the students might have given were marked as wrong. So the TAs informed me that they will make that correction and the marks will be given to correct answers. And we feel sorry for that mistake, and we will try to correct it and make sure that we put in the effort to minimize the number of errors that happen in these assignment questions. Five people are watching now,
Including us.
including us. So we have counted as two people. One. I'm happy that the number is increased. So the prompt in YouTube tells me that 5 people are watching. It gives us more opportunity for questions. So please ask your questions in case you have anything. Six are watching now. Otherwise, we'll close at 5:30 if there are no comments or questions from your side. The purpose of this is only to answer questions if you have some. So you've already heard me, you've heard my voice so many times. I don't see a reason that you should want to hear me again. So if you have any specific question, please go ahead. We have a few minutes now. And once again, I'll be very happy to answer. Otherwise, in about 10 minutes, we will wind up. We can. So we're not getting any queries or comments from you. So I guess we can wind up. Though I told you 5:30, since it's also difficult to remain silent for 10 minutes. I think we can wind up. So maybe one more time, let me ask you to type something if you have anything specific with respect to the course. I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, we'll call the technical person. Thank everybody and close it. Okay. So there are only about 4 people and I haven't done that. So I think let me stop the broadcast. Before I do that, let me one more time and possibly one last time ask if there is any comment. Anybody has written something?
No. The no is going to not stop right now.
I don't know if that no is asking me not to stop or is it to say no questions? Okay. I think we will close it. So thank you very much. The 3 people who are watching right now, which includes us and a few others who had joined earlier and left us. So thank you very much. Thank you to all the TAs and thank you to Karthik as we've always been doing. So good luck and do well in the exam and all the best. Thank you.